Hi guys, welcome back to What on Earth. I am Debbie Dubois, and today we are going to take a little bit of a look at a subject that's been hard to ignore. It's kind of the elephant in the room. It has to do with a particular president and the fact that the president is recommending and I think it's something that a lot of people have really been looking at. Also, there have been people coming up on the scene that are pretty much saying that he may not be who we think he is. So I thought this morning I would go ahead and pull some cards for my own self, and as things would have it, this reading turned out to be a real blockbuster. So I turned all the cards over, and I wanted to go ahead and give it a fresh reading with you guys. Maybe some new stuff will pop out. There were a few cards at the end that I really didn't even have a chance to get to before I began my workday. But I think that you're going to really want to check this video out, so stick around. Well, I don't know about you guys, but every time I see that song, I get really excited. I feel like so many potentials are just sitting right there in terms of creating New Earth. But we have this, like I said, we have elephants in the room. We have things that we figured would be long dealt with that have yet to be resolved. And I know that the pathway to, they say the pathway to hell is paved with good intentions. I'm not sure exactly if that's the right way to say this, but I think that we all had really good intentions when we thought, hey, this is going to happen real fast. And it can kind of get to you when you're continuing to see things day in and day out. But we have been seeing a lot of progress in little ways, a lot of people standing up in their power and just saying no. You're going to hear a little bit more about that from me in future episodes. I'm getting ready to do some new information that's kind of like what I would consider bridge to New Earth, but it's also creating New Earth, because let's face it, we have to get to New Earth, and while we can look ahead and see what we think is what we would prefer to have things look like when it's all said and done, we need to be the bridge to get there as well. So this reading, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show the cards. Let me see here. There we go. All right. I love this setup. I love being able to produce my own show and change camera angles and stuff. Maybe one of these days I'll have some special producer in my space with me. It would be fun, but right now it's just me. All right, so the first thing that I asked, I wanted to know, please tell me about the Mr. T. All right, the Mr. T, you know who he is and who I'm talking about. I'm trying to stay on the platform here. And yeah, isn't it crazy that you can get tossed for mentioning a former Mr. T? It's crazy. I can't believe that's the world we're living in, but people, it's the world we're living in. So the first card that came up was a Scorpio card, but more than that, it was a card that I took for timing. All right, the timing on this was October 22nd to November 21st. And I'm thinking, well, that's kind of interesting. It's saying during the fall. It's within 3 to 6 months, and this is considered in the Intuit Oracle, this is considered the death card. So I'm thinking, oh great, you know, what does that mean? But as I started looking at the words on the card, I realized that this was the leader that we've gotten to know, or that we think we're seeing. Someone who is resourceful, passionate, probing, perceptive, focused, and I would say he is quite determined. That has been the persona that we've seen from him. So then I turned over the light bulb. All right, and the light bulb is about our aha moments. It's about enlightenment. It's about epiphany. It's about illumination. It's about breakthroughs and discoveries. So I started saying, okay, what is it that we're going to discover? What is the aha moment going to be? And I got the fixed sign, which is interesting. This card contains two things. No, it's not happening right now. And it also has, you can count on it. So it gives you an opportunity to look deeper into the meaning of the card. And I started looking at some of the words. And again, I don't think that we could be talking about anyone else. Gets it done, stubborn, bold, brave, reliable, conservative, purpose-driven. I said, okay, so this reading is about a particular person, Mr. T, right? You can count on it, but no, now is not the time. So I was like, okay, so now is not the time. Let's get a little bit more clarity on that, because we definitely get, the cards are definitely starting to talk about this person. And what do I get? I get the eagle. So what's happening right now is, and I think there's not anyone here that's going to think this is some big Debbie revelation or card revelation, that we're definitely challenging the status quo. All right. But we have the opportunity to change it. We have the opportunity for new hope. But what it takes is clear vision and perspective. And that means the past, the present, and the future. This is about longevity. And the eagle, I mean, come on, people, the eagle is about our country. The eagle is about that. So let's see what else. All right, so then I pulled up, interestingly enough, the twin flame card. Well, the twin flame card in this particular case is, this is a catalyst. This is a balancing of yin and yang energies. And I would say from a higher perspective, that's kind of what's happening, if you want to call it service to self, service to others. And there's a big mirror here. So we've got some activations going on. We've got a reflection. We got a catalyst. We got an awakening. So I thought that this was a pretty appropriate card when we're talking about Mr. T. And then I got the key, which is a solution. All right, so as soon as I got this, I started to realize that I was going to be getting some information and insight into important information that I need to pay attention, that there's clarity here, there's liberty, and the solution is sitting right here. So I continued on, and what I got was the stepping stones. The stepping stones are about the baby step process that we're going through, but it's also the way out. So regardless of what's going on with Mr. T and the situation, we are in the process of arriving to where we want to go. We need to keep going step by step. And through this period, we're going to see a lot of spiritual growth that fuels this change. All right. Now I got the moose, which to me is another indication that we are talking about the same man, because if you look at the words on the card, we're talking about powerful, calm, cool, and collected, confident, independent, powerful, imposing. So it's like the cards were trying to tell me, yes, we're still talking about this man. So let's take a look at that. And then I got the garden card. And it looks like I might have to stop video for a second because my cat just started up. My poor kitty's old and my poor kitty loves to just sit and meow for a long time. So anyways, the garden card is about public venues, crowds, events, parties, society, the audiences, public venues. And I'm like, yup, we're still talking about this man. All right, so then I got an interesting card, resources, the fish. All right, the resources had a lot to do with the finances. It is large quantities, money, income, multiply, prosperous investments, and things of that nature. So I'm thinking, okay, one of my questions was where we stand in terms of finances. I have yet to do my deep dive into the person that people are calling Kim Possible, Goguen, Kimberley and Goguen. But you know, in that investigation, which you're gonna, you know, hopefully see that right around the time that I'm airing this, at some point soon. Some of the questions for me has been, what kind of a connection or relationship has he got with the money because of the fact of what she's saying? So without getting into the he, she, this sparked my interest because I was kind of like, okay, so some of the things that I'm hearing is that money might be an issue, but we're talking about resources. So it looks like resources are starting to come into this reading at this point. And what blows me away is the next question. The next card I pull up is woman. And so immediately I knew that this meant Kim Goguen, Kim Possible. All right, I knew that because whenever I pose any questions inside myself, they come out in readings. And it came out right next to the resources. So I started to ask myself the question, all right, so what does this have to do with her? The resources and the finances, right? Because her claim is that she is the sole trustee of the Mana World Trust, which means all of the assets of the entire world are in a trust that was held by someone way, way, way above who we think it was. And that she and her team of a lot of, you know, really qualified people have allocated all the resources back to our planet in 8 country accounts, which is going to basically return everything where it belongs instead of it having to be taken all up by the, we shall say, the CABAL. All right. And so I was like, okay, tell me more. And I got the crossroads. So what I feel, and as I was reading this, is that because this was a reading about Mr. T, and it's obviously his qualities are throughout all of these cards, there's no doubt that this question's starting to be revealed. The answer to this question is starting to be revealed to me, right? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, so multiple choice, weighing the options, deciding, independent. And I also want to insert here that one of the things that Kim Goguen has said is that she believes that the former beloved Mr. T was actually lined up for his gig. I'm trying to use code words here, people, bear with me, by a particular faction of that same said group. Take the color of what? Take the color of coal and add it with the sun, and that is like what has been kind of intimated that that's possible. Well, in my investigations, I haven't been so quick to adopt that theory 100% at all, but it would make perfect sense, wouldn't it? And at this point, Mr. T is quite independent in his thinking. He's got some choices. He has free will in this situation. There's a couple of ways that he can go, weighing options. This could also be, there's a couple of ways we can all go, that there, as a group, that there's a way that this can all work out through a couple of different ways. So at this point, I'm like, okay, tell me more, tell me more. And I actually wanted more information on Kim in this reading because she came in the finances. And I got the star. Okay, this is an Aquarius, right? The Aquarius, yes, the Aquarius card. All right, this timing is within 2 to 4 weeks during the winter, January 22nd to February 21st. What jumped off the card for me was, you know, hey, it's coming up. That's what jumped off the card. It's coming up. It's coming up either 2 to 4 weeks or during the winter, at the latest at the beginning of 2022. But these were the characteristics that the star card holds, which I thought was very interesting based on a lot of the research I've been doing about her. Assertive, independent, cold, which was interesting, idealistic. And the reason why I say that, cold and detached, are on here. If you've ever watched any of her videos, she's really gotten to the point where she's quite detached because she's been through quite a bit. And I know how that feels. I know how that feels when you go through the grinder and you start, like, everything sort of rolls off your back and you're like, yeah, okay, whatever, move on. You know, that feeling. All right, so, but individualistic, intellectual, opinionated. So I felt like, just like that they had been like confirming to me that we were talking about Mr. T, I feel that they were confirming to me that we are talking, in fact, about Ms. Goguen. Kim Possible. Dun, 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 dun. I just remember my kids used to watch Kim Possible when they were little. They would sit up on the couch with me and we'd watch, you know. Yeah, okay. Well, here we get more information. Boss. CEO. This came right out. Mama Bear, protective, finance. Her claim is that she is actually the protector of that trust, the guardian of that trust. In other words, she has the only keys to the car. No one else can drive it. And yet, that's a lot of responsibility when you think about you don't want to crash the economy either. So what, you know, if what she's saying is true, and I'm kind of starting to lean towards maybe, this was very interesting that this came out, because this came out as strong, muscular, protective, bully, you know, someone who's going to fiercely protect and guard her cubs. The way she talks, I think we people might be the cubs. I don't know. Let's keep going. But then it was interesting. I picked up the whip, which is really interesting because from what I've gathered, that this is about arguments. It's about fighting. It's about abuse. It's about doing things over and over and over again. And I get the impression that this woman has had to go through this energy. Okay? Because nobody comes out and says, yeah, I got the keys to the car and you can't drive it, and doesn't have someone like totally beat them up. Especially when we know who's been running the planet for a long time. And from what I understand, there hasn't been a lot of cooperation from our Mr. T in terms of like changing any of that up. So this is kind of why I've been digging. This is where this whole reading idea came from, but I didn't have any idea that she was actually going to pop up in this reading, which is pretty crazy. Then I got the spring new moon, which is, and this happens, I get this a lot, which is spring into action, new beginnings, set goals. All right, a surprise, coming alive, growth, a new cycle, fertile. And I'm thinking, well, look at, isn't that funny? Look at, it's right under the resources too. Now, see, I'm going to go deeper in this reading with you guys than I did with myself, because I mean, I just boom, 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 got the story, but I haven't really digested it. But look at this. Yes, finances, sitting right there, right underneath the finance. We're sitting here at new beginnings. And if you think about what she's saying, and she's saying that all of the assets of the planet, which are quadrillions and quadrillions and quadrillions, are literally all divvied up right now in a ledger that says which every country has the original rights to those things. That means we actually have a basis for a new financial system, all right, that is not controlled by the old controllers. And we'll get into that in another video because it's just way too hectic to get into in this video. But it's coming. It's definitely coming. And when I say this, I say that I haven't made any firm decisions. I know what my heart is resonating at right now. But so anyways, just to continue on, we got the hummingbird. And the hummingbird is about a lightness, a lifting out of negativity. All right. So according to this woman, Kim, the dark side has already been defeated, which pretty much goes along with we're watching a movie, right? Yes and no. Some of those people are still necessarily for them, still trying to create problems. But it looks like this is where we're going to, is being present, being in the moment, lifting out of negativity. It's the sweet and good things. And it is a rapid response. All right, so that could have something to do with it as well. And then I got the Bellows, which is a catalyst, which is the same thing as that twin flame card. It's a catalyst. All right, so it's kind of like what the cards are saying is what is coming possibly with an opportunity. We're weighing options as to whether or not how this is going to go down. And it does have to do with Mr. T, and it does have to do with Mrs. K. There is some kind of a catalyst that gets things going, that puts now it does say there's effort required. There is effort required. There is a need to I want to say put a bellow. The bellow doesn't just do it himself, It's kind of like blowing on a fire, right? It takes effort. So there's a little bit of that. So I think at this point, I asked, okay, now tell me about how does this all tie together? What does this have to do with anything, with the two of them, with us? Where is this going? And I got the magnet. All right. The magnet is a field of influence. There is a gravity or an attraction or a magnetic need, some kind of need to come together. So there may be, I want to say with this whip, there may be some animosity here. There may be angry energy, not liking to be bound to one another, not wanting to have to compromise or whatever. But there is definitely some kind of magnetic thing going on here. And then we get the sun with a big fat yes. All right? The big fat yes that comes along and says, happy, victory, fulfilled, power, climax, success, vigor. We've got the power of the sun along with that magnet. So it's kind of like the cards are saying, yeah, there's something going on here that needs to happen. And then we get the element of fire. All right, so the element of fire comes along and says, expect the unexpected. So this situation is larger than life. And this is interesting because when I think of the dynamic energy of the two, I get, there is a lot of, I want to say hot-tempered, explosive, that's the word, explosive energy, hot energy, like you can see the two people being in the room and going, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Bo, 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 bo. But the card says expect the unexpected. So I'm thinking that there's a possibility here that something's going to happen. And then what do I get? The Tower. For those of you who don't know, the Tower is a change. It is a situation that creates upheaval. All right. It does change things up. It is a sudden change. It is an aggressive energy. It is a all I can say is that Tower comes down and something changes. And we all have those Tower moments where something comes along and it's like, oh my God, wow, did that come in and feel like a wrecking ball? There is some energy of the Tower in this situation right next to that fire. And right underneath new beginnings. It's like you can't really have a new beginning necessarily unless you have an end to something. And then what do we have here? The Wheel of Fortune. So we got some karmic situations going on here. But one of the things that I feel is really important to note is that the forces of the universe are on this. And when I say the forces of the universe, I mean source energy. Source energy is all over this. There has been way too much progress made on our planet with the circumstances that Mr. T has sparked, no matter what. And I think the big question is this, and how could this have been something supported by that man? This is the question that many of us are asking. And there have been others, like what happened on that particular snowy day. It wasn't snowy, but it was damn cold. I was there in a particular place where we have important buildings and a bunch of like 2 million people showed up. You know, the whole thing about we have some people that are sitting in a solitary position, let's put it that way, and they were hung out to dry. There are some circumstances that, if you really think about it, kind of like that's the stuff that no one really wants to talk about, and everyone wants to return to the glory day because we do have a potato head running the country right now. I'm just gonna say it. And so in terms of this is out of your hands, I almost want to say this is out of their hands. I feel like both people could be important players, but that it's out of their hands, that the universe has a plan of its own, and that there is a certain destiny here. There are forces of the universe. There are cycles that are going around and coming around, and something has to happen that is creator, source energy specific. And then the tracks came up. Keep going. Just keep going on the situation. So it's kind of like there's only one way to go. You can't go off the tracks. You have to stay on the tracks, because if you go off the tracks, well, then you're really not going to get anywhere. But if you stay on the tracks, it's very steady movement forward. And the I think I can energy, right? The I trust, I believe in this. The focal point is the destination of where we want to go. The direct route is to keep going. So whatever's in play behind the scenes, whether or not Mr. T, I mean, there have been rumors that he will be reinstated. There are rumors that he's not coming back. There's rumors that there's someone else in line. There's rumors that we could have new, where we all put our names in the hat and decide who's gonna run things, right? Trying to stay away from certain words. The truth is that there's only one way to go. And that's to keep moving forward on the path that we've been. But I do believe that it's important for us to open up our eyes to the players that are on the board, and to open up our possibilities as to how this thing can turn out. So I think I continue to ask, okay, what have we got with the combination of these two? And I want to say leaders. I want to say leaders because we've had too much of the savior complex. Saviors, and oh my gosh, we've already done one video on saviors, and really the dismantling of the saviors program is what's going on right now. That's what all of this is about. Saviors in every aspect of, and I think it started for me personally with O.J. Simpson. Okay, I mean, it went that far back where breaking down of the saviors, you start to find out the people that, you know, you really liked or whatever are not necessarily good people, and sometimes are really, really horrible people. But in where we're going right now, it does feel to me that Kim has the leader, what do you want to say? A leader personality. She's not seeking the limelight. She doesn't want to seek the limelight, but she's been laboring behind the scenes for, I'm trying to think how many years. Probably as long as I've been on this whole sovereignty, you know, movement, whatever, which has been 15, 20 years. She's been involved doing something, moving this whole train down the field. So leading, okay? And we obviously, Mr. T is obviously an incredible leader in that he has inspired quite a few people to stand up and say what they want without fear. And then, of course, we had some backlash on that. But what's the combination between the two? It's pretty fertile. We got new beginnings. We got rabbits, people. Rabbits is increasing, okay? It is fertility. It is a sudden increase, okay? So is that a sudden increase in benevolent, you know, energy? Is it a increase in finances? You know, these are some of the things, but it is a new beginning. And it's sudden. And it's resourceful. And it's destiny. We got the cross. It's destiny. It's necessity. It's like I can see that there's probably, if there's two of them in the same room, we got the whip. I also feel like there's this duty. I feel this sense of, oh, okay, if I have to work with this person, you know what I mean? I don't get like buddy at all. But that destiny of the divine guidance is putting them into a position where they have to work together out of necessity. Necessity. Then I got the diamond ring. I'm thinking certainly these two people are not going to get married, and I know the answer to that. But, you know, this isn't really about that. What it is, the diamond ring, a lot of times people go, oh, I got the diamond ring. This is a union. This is a partnership. It is taking things to the next level. It is a promise. It is a statement of intent. And I do think that if she is who she says she is, and even though she believes that he's not working for our benefit, and that's probably what a lot of people just go, whoop, not listening. Okay. That's what she sees. She sees memos, letters, all the intelligence, okay? This is what she's saying. Regardless of the whip, regardless of what other things have we got going on here. Well, this duty, this necessity, the diamond ring basically says, yeah, there's a statement of intent here to unite, putting your own needs or your own beliefs or your own knowledge, even of other people's motives, or anything else, that there's a very good potential here that differences will be put aside and that everyone's going to get on the same page. And then I got Jupiter, which is the expansion card. Expand. It's going to expand from there. It's making stable changes. It's a turning point. It's fortune. It's growth. It's destiny. So it's kind of hard to, and look at, we've got two cards that have the same Wheel of Fortune energy. Okay, so Jupiter's also a Wheel of Fortune card, I believe. All right, so we've got double Wheel of Fortune karma. What goes around comes around, all that kind of stuff. Now, I also got the Squirrel Energy. Is there going to be tension? Is this going to be difficult for both of them? You betcha. I think that I do believe that there is probably a lot of miscommunication from this perspective. I think that if I were to guess, Mr. T is hoarding information. They're probably both hoarding information, secretive. But this is also energetic energy. It's saving energy. It's prepared for anything. And I got to tell you, that those two energies seem to go pretty well with the two people that I've gotten to know through my exploration. But things are complicated. We've got the yarn. So things are quite complicated. And what is happening is things are having to be unraveled that have been tangled. All right? String along, strung along. We've all been strung along for a long time. Things have been in a conundrum. There have been a lot of hassles. There have been a lot of problems. The yarn is calling that to be resolved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to just sort of sum up the reading, pull a couple extra cards to say, okay, please let us know what the outcome, what is the outcome of this whole thing? What is the outcome of this, shall we say, Mr. T and Kim Possible? We got the elephant. Okay? So we got the elephant, and put that right here. And this is wise, trust, supportive, obstacles removed. Have your wits about you. So you're paying attention, right? But it has a very wise energy. We also have Neptune, which is the Hanged Man. It could be a little bit of time. Okay, we might be waiting on this for a little bit. But the card of Neptune is all about enlightenment, from disillusion, from fantasy. I do think that, and it's a spiritual card, it's a psychic card, it's a dream card, it's a fantasy card. It's kind of like, I do feel like we will go through a period of time where the aha moments are going to come. That there is going to be some enlightenment, and it's going to take a little while. Don't expect this right away. Like not yesterday. Let's see what else we get. There's a deep commitment here. All right. This combination will reawaken hope. Okay. It's going to reawaken hope because this is kind of like a partnership that may have to happen. There's deep commitment. It's interesting because what I get is from Kim, there's a deep commitment from a humanitarian standpoint. And I almost see a polar opposite with the old man. The old man. You know what I'm talking about, Mr. T. He has a different motivation. It's not necessarily just humanitarian, but he has a great pride and commitment to an ideal, an idea of something that was supposed to work one way, and it's been messed with so many times. So what has happened is that, in a sense, this is manifesting a deep desire from both. And it's interesting because we got two birds. They're facing opposite directions. I do not think for 1 minute that that this is like one of those arranged marriages, is what I feel like. It's kind of like, yeah, look at this. As if to confirm that, what jumps out is the mice, and the mice's anxiety, stress. Like, yeah, I don't really want to work with you. I really don't. You know, it's there's nagging energy there. There's worry. There's anxiety. There's stress. So it's not like they're really wanting this to happen. But got another sun card, and I really do think that I'm going to leave this reading on that card because the sun is, we got that very strongly. This card is, again, it's the creative force of, I want to say, source energy, the bringer of life. It's like this to me, I'm going to move this over and put this right at the center of the outcome. This is destined to happen. And even though there might be a little bit of frustration, and there's a lot of work to do here, guys. But I just feel that regardless of whether you want to be in the camp that says, yeah, I don't know so much about this stuff, and yeah, he kind of abandoned people that showed up for him. Hey, how come he didn't fight personally? You know, I think we make a lot of excuses. I know I did. And I have made a lot of excuses for, well, why didn't they do something? Well, why didn't something change? You know, like, how come it just seemed like such an easy defeat, if you will? Well, I do think that there's a lot more to this story that we're going to find out. But my purpose was to go in. I wanted to know. Me personally, I wanted to know, you know, yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm really strong against that. You know what? The not medicine. And it's always been my hot button since it came out. I go, oh, here it goes. I knew the second that happened, I go, as soon as they came out and that March of 2020 was it, I was like, yep, they just pulled the big old gun and this is going to be a problem. And I was like, oh man, I didn't see that coming. I thought we were smooth sailing. Well, that was the only chance they had. And how he's lined up on that side of that issue has really pissed me off. All right, I'm just saying it. So while I want so much to believe in the pureness of his intent, and look at, he's got the characteristics and he's got the intent and the deep commitment and all that. But it made me open up to other possibilities, which is what this Kim Goguen piece has brought in. So not exactly sure the order that I'm going to release information. I have a mini film that I'm working on, and I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it. It's very short. It's inspirational. That's coming. And this is just one of those things where it showed up and I felt the call to share with you guys. I am being careful of how I release information that I'm getting because I'm trying to be very responsible. The last thing we need in our community is for people to just jump all over the place and throw their chips into this ring and throw their chips into that ring and start creating all kinds of division. But I am planting the seeds here because it could be a really, really positive thing. Because if there is someone that has organized this whole entire financial project and is a protector and does care about humanity and has some help, I'll just put it that way, this could be an incredibly expansive period of time. We got to get through the noise and the potatoes and the, oh my God, that just drives me crazy. It's hard to watch the news now. And I never really did anyways, but you know what I'm saying. It's hard to watch any clips. Can't watch that man. All right, well, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you'll, if you like this video, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. That really helps me out. If you haven't joined the channel, please do. It would mean so much to me. The more we grow the numbers, I'm actually going to be able to tie the name What on New Earth to it with the number of subscribers. So any help you can give in sharing this video to anyone that you think might be interested to get the subscribers up would be really helpful. And yeah, so I guess until the next video, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Namaste.